Hello, everybody. How goes it? My name is George Connelly, and welcome back to the George Connelly podcast. Now, today is episode 9, not to be confused with last week's episode, which in the thumbnail I said was episode 9, and in the actual podcast I said it was episode 9, because I don't know why I really did think it was episode 9, but I'm just gonna go on my YouTube channel right now to completely double check because I uh I was pretty set on the fact. Yeah, so episode 8 was last week. Now we're into episode 9. Perfect. Now, I didn't know what to do for this podcast, but I knew I wanted it to be another themed podcast, which I'm starting to get into. My first couple weren't, and I think I'm gonna get into these more often now because no one has told me otherwise. And if you don't want them, then tell me otherwise, and I will reconsider. But I didn't know what to do, so I sent a Snapchat to my friend Jared, and I said, Jared, what should I do? And he said, talk about travel experiences. So I was all for it. Um, I thoroughly enjoy traveling. I don't I don't do it too often, and I'm not saying that like, man, I wish I could travel more. But I mean, I think I travel probably a little bit more than the average person. But a lot of these are just the ones I think of, and they might sound a little bit lame, but for me, like actually being there is just a lot cooler than just saying where I went. Before I get into them, excuse my voice. It's a little bit off today. Well, it's been a little bit off like the last week. It's a little bit deeper because I don't know. I've been sick. I've been sick a lot this year actually. Um, but I feel fine right now, and that is why I'm getting the lovely opportunity to podcast. So I'm going to start off with these aren't going to be in order, but somewhere near in order. So my first like real traveling was to Florida, which is where my grandfather lived. I'd say I was about 6, 7, maybe 8. I'm not good with my ages and when stuff happened in my life, even though I'm 15. But we went down there basically every year, whether it be we went down there for Christmas one year, we went down there to watch spring training games, which is baseball, and we just go down there some other times just to do so. And we flew a couple times. We drove 2 or 3 times, which is from where I live in Rhode Island. I think it's like a 26-hour drive, which is a lot of fun when you have 6 people in a car. But it wasn't bad when we were young because there was a lot of room in the car. But so Florida, I'll get back into Florida because we still go there quite often. Well, yearly essentially. But again, Colorado, which I talked about. I didn't talk about the actual trip, but in my last podcast, the scariest moments of my life. We had the dents in the plane. It was like a 4 hour plane ride, but we went out there in April or February. I believe it was over February vacation, and we went there with my dad's good friend and his family. And we got there, and I was really excited because I had never been out west. I haven't. I live in New England, and I'd only leave there to go to Florida. So I was in 5th grade when it happened. So how old is that? 10, 11. But that was awesome, and we went out there to ski. I probably already mentioned that, and I went up. It was a pretty legitimate ski mountain we went to. It was called Copper, and we went up to the very, very top. And there's the mountain, and then behind the mountain is an area of skiing called the bowls, like kitchen bowls. They're called the bowls of the mountain, and it's they're not even considered trails to the mountain because if you get hurt on a ski mountain, essentially you can sue them out and all that stuff. But like when you're in the bowls, it's powder. There's no cat that runs over it every morning to mat it down. There's moguls, which if you don't know moguls in skiing, they're just like hills. They're like bumps that you go through. Um, they're like bumps in New England and like hills in Colorado because skiing is way different out west than it is in ooh, a dog just barked. They're way different out west than they are in New England. But so I went up to the bowls, and keep in mind this was my first time being in a high altitude. I was in the Rocky Mountains, and it was skiing. I'm not usually out of breath, or I wasn't usually out of breath. But after I'd finish a run, I would be out of breath because the oxygen is. I don't know if it's thinner or thicker, quite honestly, but it's different, is what I'm trying to get at. So then we go up to the bowls of the mountain on this really weird chairlift that doesn't even have a bar. So you're however many feet above the ground, and if you lean forward, you're going to fall and at least break a couple bones. But we got up there, and then as soon as I got off the chairlift, I felt absolutely awful. And it's called altitude sickness. And out of the group, we had probably 9 or 10 people. I was the only person who felt this altitude sickness that was going on. Um, we were up at one of the highest point of the mountain, highest place I'd ever been in my entire life. And I threw up. My stomach hurt. I had a headache. Like my face was all like blotchy. I imagine being this 10-year-old kid and just having all these symptoms literally be thrown at you in a matter of minutes. So I just like sat up there and when you're altitude sick, the only thing you can do is get down from the mountain. But I was so sick I didn't want to ski down however long the mountain is, but I ended up doing it. And this was earlier in the day. It was like 10 o'clock. I went into our apartment thing and I slept. I was gonna take like a 1 hour, 2 hour nap so that my family would get me when they came in for lunch at 12, and then I'd finish the day. But I woke up to the sound of my family coming into the apartment, and then I got up. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a bit better. Let's go out for the second half of the day. And then they said, George, it's 7 o'clock at night. And I said, wait, what? It's 7 o'clock? I slept like 9 hours because I don't know why, but they didn't wake me up. Probably because I was in such um, acute slumber, if you will. And other than that, I don't think I got too sick the rest of the trip. It was a really fun environment where we were. It has a name, the little community we were in. I forget the name right now, but everywhere you look, there was an ice skating rink, like restaurants, all this great stuff, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly after I got over that altitude sickness. I would definitely like to go out there again. I know my dad has, but he didn't take us because it was kind of like a guy's thing. But that is my long-winded Colorado experience. I would love to go back out there, or maybe to Utah sometime soon. After that, I went to New York to see Cooperstown, which is where the National Baseball Hall of Fame is. And like my whole extended family on my mom's side went, and that was just a really, really fun trip. And my grandmother she didn't really want to go. Well, I just think she liked being at home better, but she actually did go, which was awesome because um, a couple of um, a couple of months later, just a few months, she actually got into a car accident and she died. So that was some of my last memories with her, which was it was definitely a really good note to it was our last trip together, is what I'm saying, and I was very happy how everything went down in regards to that. I went to New York again a couple years later to Saratoga, which is very upstate New York, if I'm not mistaken. Check me on that. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's pretty upstate New York. But Saratoga is famous for its horse racing. And going into this trip, I was like, I know nothing about horses. It's a 7-hour drive. I mean, this is gonna stink. It's the middle of August. Why don't I just stay at home and do whatever I do? But I went up there with my dad's extended family this time, and we got there, and it was an amazing trip. To this day, it's one of my favorite trips, and I would kill to go there again. I've been saying, guys, let's go back to Saratoga, and I'm hoping that we can pretty soon. It wasn't just the horse race. I just like the environment of the city. We took a tour, which was a very, very fun tour. It's a very historically significant city or town or whatever you want to call it. And I had a lot of fun going through there. Then the day we went to the actual horse track was track? I think it's a horse track, was phenomenal. You know, you get to Saratoga, the actual horse racing track is absolutely breathtaking. Like the lawn care and the seating, it was breathtaking. Look up pictures or a virtual tour of it. It's a really, really cool place to be. So I did that. There's a lot of gambling there. I was like 12, but I did gamble a little bit to no avail. But beside the point. That was such a fun trip. Let's see what else I have. Oh, New Hampshire, which isn't really like a trip, but it's such a significant part of my traveling life. Um, New Hampshire is about a 2.5 hour drive from where I am. And when I was 8, we actually purchased a condo up there. It wasn't like a timeshare, it wasn't like somewhere we could go on the weekends. Like, it was our home. Um, Not obviously we didn't live in it, but it was ours. We go up basically every weekend in the winter. Go up on a Friday night, ski Saturday, go out with family that Saturday night, wake up Sunday, and ski. And then when you're done with skiing at like 6 o'clock, go home for school that Monday. And that's what I did for probably, or my family did for about 4 years. But then You know, I started playing AAU baseball in the winter. My sister picked up volleyball. My brother was a high school. My brother was a high school became a high school runner. We had stuff to do on the weekends, and we couldn't really go up that much. We'd also go up a lot in the summer, and I love New Hampshire summers. Man, we were on Lake Winnipesaukee. We're not like directly on it, but my uncle has a house on it, and it's just some of my greatest summer memories are there, and I hope that they will stay there. I love being up there in New Hampshire. Um, we sold that condo 2 years ago, I would say. And as you may think, like I'd be really upset about that. I really did not. I wasn't upset about it one bit because personally, the condo itself, there was something about it that I just didn't like. I don't know what. I just did not like being in the actual condo. I liked what the condo provided for me, housing my family when we went up there, but the actual place, I didn't really care for it. But we still go up there from time to time, which is a lot of fun. I actually went up there for Super Bowl Sunday, and we stayed at the Mount Washington, which was rather exhilarating. And what else do we have? Maine, which was this summer. Excuse the piano in the background, but if you can hear it, you might. My brother's playing the piano. That serves as some pretty nice background music for this podcast. Maine, as I said, we went whitewater rafting. Um, that was a summer. I talked about that in my last podcast, but I think I want to talk about exactly what we did and like what the community was like. So it was about a 6, 7 hour drive, and it was cool because on the way there, I actually got to see the college my parents went to, which is Colby College in Maine. It's a liberal arts small college, but it was awesome to see it and see where they lived 4 years of their life. And then we met up with my dad's brother and his family and two family friends, and we went whitewater rafting. But what the we lived in this or didn't live, but we bunked in like it was like a camp. There were 8 cabins. We were in the Fisher cabin. I have no idea how I remember that, but we were in the Fisher cabin, and literally out the back window you could see the whitewater rafting complex, like where you pick up your rafts, and it was like this woodsy place. I It was just like camp to me. Like it felt like camp. I've never been to a sleepaway camp. I don't do camps. Like I'll do a baseball clinic or a sports clinic of some sort, but I never went to sleepaway camp, and that was what it felt like to me, except there weren't any other families. But that was a lot of fun. That was a really great trip. What else do I have? I still go out to Florida every year. I used to go to Fort Myers, but now I go to St. Augustine with my cousins. St. Augustine is an absolutely beautiful city. I like it a lot. Um, Florida is by far it's where I want to be. It's where I want to go to college. It's where I want to spend my life. I consider myself a very happy person, and I'm at my happiest when I'm in Florida, and I'm honestly incredibly saddened when I have to leave Florida. Like I pride myself on my positivity, but there's just no way for me to be happy when I'm leaving a place that gives me so much joy. Florida is really just ah, I love it. But we went to Florida for Christmas, which was absolutely great. And then a couple days after Christmas, we actually went to Savannah, Georgia. Just my family, like my family, no extended family, and that was a lot of fun. It's a very interesting city. We went to church in a really cool chapel, which was uh, great. It was very interesting. Um, what else? So that was my Florida/Georgia experience. Where did I go? Oh, New Jersey. I went to New Jersey a couple summers ago for a baseball tournament. I was on an all-star team from juniors, and we won states, which was incredible. We didn't come in like the top seed. We weren't expected to win, but we won, and we got to drive our whole team down to New Jersey and play in a regional tournament with the best from each state, and we were representing our entire state, which is really cool to think of. Obviously, at the time, I wasn't thinking about that, but looking back on it, that was probably the highlight of my athletic career so far. I'm in my high school baseball program, and I'm hoping these next 3 years of my athletic career, probably the last 3 years, which is really sad to think about, but I don't want to think about that. I hope those are going to be the best, but so far, that tournament was just crazy for me. It was absolutely surreal. You know, that's the most high intensity playing I played in front of like 500 people a game. And 500 people isn't that big, but I mean when you think about it, for a 13-year-old's baseball game when he's usually getting watched by 20, 30 people max, having a sold out game is really just a remarkable thing. So that was Freehold, New Jersey, which is a really nice complex. And if you've noticed by the places I've described, I didn't list anywhere where I left the country. Um, so I saved that for last, and that is when my family and myself drove up to Canada, and we saw the Niagara Falls, which was cool. And we went to Toronto. We watched a baseball game. I feel like we did something else. We were only there for 1, 2 days, I think. I think we got there in an on one afternoon and we left that next night or something like that. It was a short stay, but I like big cities. One of the bigger cities in the nation, Boston, is like an hour drive from here. I don't go there very often, but um, so yeah, Toronto was really a really cool place. It was my first time being outside the country and my only time so far. Um, so that is it for my travel experiences. This was actually a pretty long podcast, and I feel like it was a podcast in which I could deliver my content or the ideas I had in my head relatively well because my a couple of my podcasts there I kept losing my train of thought and I was saying a lot. I still say a lot in these because it's different for me. I'm getting used to it now because I'm 9 episodes in. Um, See, like right there, I just used it. But when I have a topic like this, it's a lot easier for me to present my information in a way that's very simple and I can just get it in there. While when I'm freelancing, like some of my other ones, I stutter a lot. And I feel like when you're a podcast listener and you're just listening to my voice, it's incredibly aggravating to hear this voice just stutter and go, because when you're talking to someone face to face, they usually don't go, And I want you guys to be feeling like I am physically talking to you guys because you should feel that way because I'm it's not like I'm one of those guys who's saying thank you for watching my video even though you have like 5 million people watching the video. It doesn't really feel personal. But when I say thank you for watching this video, I'm talking to one of the 5 people who watch this video. So you know it's one of you. And I know a couple of my friends who watch my videos. So that if you don't know me personally, and you're one of like the 2 people I don't know who watches this or listens to this podcast, I legitimately thank you for taking the time to watch 20 minutes of me talking about random stuff. I enjoy the fact that I can share my content, share my quiz yourself videos, and I'm not sure what the future of those quiz yourself videos are. And I feel like I'm saying that in every single podcast. Yeah, I don't know what my quiz yourself videos are gonna go because I truly don't. I'm 8 episodes. No, I've done 7 episodes of quiz yourself, I think, and they're not getting viewed and blah blah blah. It's nothing that you haven't heard yet, but I plan on getting rid of quiz yourself as soon as I have an idea that I think can legitimately replace it. But for now, quiz yourself is here to stay. I'm still going to be posting some videos on Mondays, or no, not Mondays. I always post a video on a Monday and a Wednesday, but it will no a Monday and a Friday, sorry. But Wednesdays is my day to post random content that isn't a podcast or a quiz yourself video. I've done that the past 3 Wednesdays, with the exception of last Wednesday. So be sure to stay tuned 3 days a week potentially, which is awesome. I legitimately thank you for watching this. I appreciate it a lot. If you are not already subscribed to catch me at least twice a week, and that number will be going up within the next couple of months. This channel is still in the works schedule wise, but I'm happy that I've been able to, for the most part, meet the deadlines for the past 2 months basically. I'm coming up on my, well, not really coming up, but to May, May 8th is when I started. Is today March 8th? No. No way is it March 8th. Yeah, March 4th. I wasn't even close. So, March, March 4th, April 4th, May. I'm about 2 months away from a year on YouTube, which is really cool. So I thank you guys for coming with me on this journey where I slowly gain an audience. 54 subscribers, 797 views. I'm fine with that right now. And I know that when my audience grows, it'll feel so much better because I've put in the hard work and I've seen no result. Well, not no result, but a slow result. And it's going to be very refreshing to see a result that is something I'm very proud of and that my work on YouTube reflects. Fun fact, this is the longest podcast I have done without a guest, which is cool. 23 minutes, maybe 24 by the time I wrap it up. And I think I'll have a guest on for the season finale of episode 1 of season 1. I'm not sure if that's going to be next week or the week after that, but the video will obviously be titled End of Season 1. And for the few viewers of the George Connelly podcast, look forward to the next one, and then the next season, and then the 55th season when I'm 28 and uh, still YouTubing. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Get ready for that Quiz Yourself video on Monday. I think you guys will like it a lot. Adios.